Mr. Ward, your recollections of before World War II started?
Uh, I was born in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and most of my youth I was brought up in New York. And then about 3 years in Jersey going to high school. I get bounced around in my family a good deal after my mother died. And then I got tired of the whole shebang and I joined the Navy. Unknowns to me, I didn't know what the Navy was going to do to me, but that too is,
What year, do you remember what year that was that you joined?
oh yeah, I put my hand in the air 4 January 1940,
Before the war started?
before the war started. If they had waited 3 weeks to attack, I would have had 2 years active duty. But after leaving the city, I got sick of my family telling me go here, go there, do this, do that. At 18, you know it all. Huh? Okay, teenagers, they're smart. And so I just joined the Navy. I had no idea really what the Navy was, except what I used to see in the newsreels. All these beautiful ships steaming around in the ocean and airplanes flying. Oh man, you know. It wasn't like that for me.
Looked enchanting though, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got further away from home than I'd ever been before. I went all the way around through the Panama Canal and got up to as far as Bremerton, Washington.
The other side of the
aboard
world
that first
at that
ship.
point.
Huh?
The other side of the world at that point.
Yeah.
Just a minute. You said that the Navy had a little bit more for you than what you expected. A
No, they had a little less for me than
little
I
less.
expected. Yeah.
What was your training?
I'll
in it?
give you an infer or whatever. When we went down to Norfolk, Virginia, it was Naval Operating Base, Naval Training Station within that base. The only difference was, and I want no one to feel offended because this is the way things were when I was a youngster, and for some of you, when you were youngsters like I was. There was no training for me as a seaman or a sailor. They took us and put us in what was known as Unit B East, all black, with a 10-foot chain link fence around 4 old World War I barracks. And that's where we lived and trained. But don't need any training to know how to shine a shoe or make a damn bed. Well, this is what we had to look forward to. I had no idea, because if I had known, I would have joined the Army and shoveled horse manure over there in Kansas or over in Arizona. Would have been much better.
Yeah.
The horse wouldn't have given me any crap.
Yeah. Sounds like they wanted to though.
Oh, however, and all we were was non-rated men, mess attendants. They called it the messman branch. But this was what we were, servants. And that was our duty. I stayed angry through the whole dang war because I hated the idea that I had to fight a war as a flunky. I have to be honest with you. I was angry for 4 straight years. And that was what we were supposed to be trained to do. Set a table, make a bed, shine a shoe, blah, blah, blah. And you could only advance as far as pay grade was concerned because, as I said, we were non-rated men.
Right.
So you got as far as E6. You received the money. But other than that, you had nothing until the war started. And they wanted more black people for the same work. So they changed the title, and they made the stewards petty officers. And this is to get more people to voluntarily come into the Navy and be servants. Because after all, an officer type wasn't supposed to shine his own dang shoes. That's just an idea.
Where were you when the war started, do you recall?
I was in Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, ship was undergoing overhaul. We'd been there since October.
And you were on the USS San Francisco.
And as I say, I was able to observe that whole thing because they had taken the ship away from the pier, turned her around, and backed her in so they could lift more stuff out of the engine room from the starboard side of it. So there I stood at my battle station, which was above the bridge, and the only thing up there was a set of sound-powered phones because all the the binoculars and other stuff that we used as lookouts was over on the beach in the shops. So I just stood there and eyeballed it all, and it wasn't a very nice, it was scary, and then it was awesome.
And you were on your post when the
Yeah, oh yeah,
the
we
attack
went to
actually
battle
started.
stations. They started ringing bells and blowing whistles and everything else. And this is not a drill routine, and everybody went to their battle station. But we didn't have a thing aboard except a few rifles and a couple of sidearms for security on the piers, and that was it. Because all the ammunition, fuel, and anything flammable had been removed from the
Was off.
ship.
Because they was.
Because you're in the yard.
Ship. Yep.
And so I stood and watched that whole thing from the time it started till the last wave of them came in. And then we stayed at General Porter's until about, I don't know, about 5 o'clock in the evening. All day long.
Now, after the attack and the United States is officially at war, did your assignment stay with the San Francisco?
Oh, yeah. I was with that ship until the Guadalcanal campaign.
Okay.
And Friday the 13th, November of 42, they almost put us down. And between the 12th and the 13th and the morning of the 13th, we lost about 80, 85 people. Got real nasty. And it was after that particular battle, they took about 60 of us, I guess, maybe less. I can't remember now, because I know that 22 men died in the after-battle control. They called it BAT 2, but it was a secondary command post in case the bridge was blown away. The exec and his crew would take command of the vessel. But some Japanese guy said, well, I didn't get a hit, I'll take them out. So he flew his airplane into us and created a nasty fire, and we lost 22 people. Just like that.
Wow.
So the next morning, at about 5 minutes after 1, we ran into some more, and that was really nasty, and it lasted just about an hour or a little less. And when they got through with her, she looked like a piece of junk. And there were many, many more of us that were either killed or hurt. And I left her on the 15th. They highlined me and about 40 others over to a hospital ship and took us away.
You never returned to the U.S. San Francisco after that?
I paid him a visit in Kwajalein, I think it was 1945. I was been on a ship similar to that one, and we carried groceries, all dry stores, canned goods, coffee, salt, sugar, that's grocery
The
store.
Liberty ship, then you.
Yeah, and she carried 9,500 tons of chow, and we'd meet the fleet, supply them, and the ship happened to be there, so I went over to visit. A lot of the guys I knew were still aboard.
Did your duties change at all after the war started?
Nope.
Your responsibilities were still pretty much the same?
Same thing. No change. Those folks had to have their servants,
Yeah.
no matter what kind of ship it was. I had that one, and I was in charge of the mess boys, mess attendants. They called us mess boys, but by then I'd got 3 stripes on my arm, so I was in charge of the detail. So I was just a super butler, that was all. Same difference. Same difference.
Mr. Hill,